What's up everybody, Maran here for the final weekly update of 2023. So this one's going to be a fun look back at my top 10 favorite reviews that I did this year, as well as my look forward at the stuff I'm most excited for in 2024, and also some little changes I'm planning for the channel here for 2024. But first, getting to my top 10 here of this year. I did 74 reviews here this year, and it's a ton of fun doing all of them, and I'm always naturally curious about every vehicle, and these top 10 are my personal favorites for subjective, objective, all the reasons, so this isn't like the best cars I reviewed this year. It's just my personal favorite. So wanted to put that disclaimer out there. As many of you know, I don't love ranking videos that are saying this is the best thing ever for everyone. This is my personal favorites, but I know many of you are so curious, so that's why I share. So anyway, starting off with number 10, my 10th most favorite review this year was the Audi RS Q8. And, typically I'm not in love with SUVs, but this one is, particularly exciting. Having the twin turbo V8, it's just an awesome, awesome package while still having so much luxury and also a good amount of value, considering even though it's over $100,000, it's on the same bones as a Bentley Bentayga and a Lamborghini Urus, and you're getting very similar performance, very similar luxury for a fraction of the price. And so I think there's actually a lot to like about that vehicle, and it was of course just a ton of fun. It's fast, it's loud, and it's luxurious all at the same time, and that's my type of car, something that kind of does everything and is a great grand tour. So that's number 10. Number 9 might be a little bit of a surprise to some of you, but it's the new Toyota Prius Prime, which the one I had this year also had a solar roof, which was a really fun thing to try and test. And the Prius, I love the new generation Priuses in general. They're just really sporty. I love the driving position. It's a really fun little, commuter car. If I actually had a, daily commute and I wanted to get good fuel economy, Prius would be towards the top of my list there, if not at the top. And the Prime version being even faster, 220 horsepower, and something that's pretty light with that instant electric zip, 42 miles of electric range, getting able to get some extra charge out of the solar roof. I mean, just so many cool things. Great styling still, great everything. I just really love the Prius, which if you had told me even just a few years ago that I'd be saying this, I would say you were crazy. But, Toyota's really been on a tear the past few years with awesome stuff, and the Prius is a prime example of that, pun intended. But so yeah, I just have really enjoyed the Prius Prime. I just think they're great, and hopefully they can actually build more of them so more people can enjoy them. But that's number 9. Number 8 might also be a surprise. Now, as far as fun goes, this number 8 is the Toyota Grand Highlander, which I know is a giant, 3-row crossover family hauler thing. Not, the sportiest vehicle by any stretch of the imagination, but there's a few different reasons why I put it on this list. The first was that obviously, it was my most fun trip of the year, press car-wise, because we were in Hawaii for that one. Now, that doesn't mean that I like the Grand Highlander just because we were in Hawaii for it, but it certainly made it, for me, one of the more fun drives, because driving anything in Hawaii is going to be fun because you're in Hawaii. So there's that, but even whenever I got home and spent a week with one, I was really impressed with the Grand Highlander. I think it's, what I admire about it is that they just went with exactly what people wanted. Instead of trying to, a lot of other companies, they're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole and be like, well, this is what we think the people should like, so this is what we're going to do. And they're kind of headstrong, whereas the Toyota, I think they're kind of an open book. They're like, okay, people want something that's gigantic, people want as much third row space as possible, and they just want, an easy touchscreen, agreeable styling. They don't have to, they didn't try and go crazy with the styling. They didn't have to go crazy with the interior. They just made a good vehicle that's, pretty much infallible, in my opinion. Aside from we just recently got some not so great crash test ratings, it's still good, but it wasn't quite as good as the other competitors. But aside from that, I think the Grand Highlander is just really impressive, and it's just, a vehicle I was just very impressed with this year, and it was one that I had a fun time with. And also, with the Hybrid Max powertrain, I mean, that thing is not slow. It gets up and moves, so it's actually a fun thing to accelerate into, believe it or not. But anyway, that's number 8. Number 7 is the 2024 Mustang GT that I was thankfully able to review just a few weeks ago here, thanks to a subscriber that very generously offered their vehicle, because that was one of the big disappointments this year, is that Ford didn't invite me on that media drive, and it's whatever, the channel views and that haven't been super good this year. I'll get more into that in a few minutes, but I'm just really thankful I was able to actually test out the new 2024 Mustang, and I really liked it. Now, I still don't like the interior. I still would never trade my Bullet for one in a million years, but it's an impressive vehicle from a reviewer standpoint, putting on my reviewer hat here. It's objectively been improved. It's faster. It's, got the higher tech stuff that everyone wants these days. Better handling. They made some really nice improvements to the 2024 Mustang, and I had a lot of fun in it. So that's my number 7 pick. Number 6 is the Honda Civic Type R, which, I did a review of that in 2022, but I was able to spend a week with it here in 2023. And that's another one that just, really impressed me. Honda really nailed that car. It's so practical. It's roomy. It can do it all, really. And it's just so much fun. It's just such a good car. And even though it might not have the most drama out of everything that I've reviewed here this year, and we'll get to some more of those here in a few minutes, but even though it wasn't the most dramatic, it's just a really good car that just does everything you want it to do and executes it perfectly, pretty much. And I just really love the Civic Type R, and so that is my number 6 pick. Number 5 is the very similar Integra Type S. And I could have grouped them both together, but I think that, I wanted to highlight that the Integra is definitely my preference over the Civic Type R. It sounds better, it looks better, it's a little more luxurious, which, as you might be able to tell, is something I appreciate, having some extra creature comforts in a car. And so the Integra does that while still retaining all the same great traits of the Civic Type R, with the nice big hatch, nice big back seats, and all the other good things about the Civic Type R that make it great. The Integra still has, and so obviously it's more expensive, but I think if you have the disposable cash, definitely go for Integra Type S over Civic Type R, in my opinion. And so that's why Integra was the higher ranking one there, and that's my number 5. Number 4 is the Audi RS6 Avant. Now this one, same kind of deal as the RSQ8, same exact powertrain. It's a twin turbo V8 in something practical. That always rocks in my book. And so, that was one of the things, but also just the fact that it's a wagon, which is ultra rare and exclusive here in the States. And just so cool. The RS6 Avant is one of my lottery dream cars. I've wanted an RS6 Avant ever since they announced they were coming to the States. And that was always just, again, a pipe dream. I'll never probably be able to afford one, but it's rare. I have a lot of cars on my, dream car wish list that are from brands I'll never get a chance to probably review, Ferrari, Aston Martin, all these high-end things. But that was one of my cars, wow, if I did win the lottery and this was one of my daily drivers, I was actually able to live out that fantasy for a week with the RS6 Avant. So that was also, an extra bit of fun personally for me, just again, because of my subjective love of the RS6 Avant. But it's a fantastic car as well. And so that was just another very fun one here to drive for a week. But my number 3 pick is another lottery dream winner kind of car, but this one's a little more attainable, and that's the Cadillac CT5V Blackwing, which, again, I reviewed in 2022, but got to spend a week with here in early 2023, and I got to spend a week with it on snow tires, no less, which is why I titled the video My Hilarious Week with the CT5V Blackwing, because, that thing was just wanting to spin all over the place, but that just added to the fun. Obviously, if you're someone who likes precision and, no wheel spin, then, that'd be annoying, I suppose, but for me, someone who loves just tons of wheel spin and tail happy antics, a CT5V Blackwing in winter on snow tires just makes it even more fun. And that was just an absolute blast. And another car that I would happily own if I could afford it. Another great all-rounder, can do everything basically, as long as you're not driving in any kind of challenging snow, because again, it was happy to slide around even on perfectly dry roads. But just another fantastic car that we know isn't going to last much longer. And so really I'm enjoying it and savoring it while it's here. And so I'm just very grateful I got to spend a week with the Blackwing CT5 there. Now, my number 2 most favorite vehicle I reviewed this year was the Toyota GR Corolla. Now, again, that's another one I reviewed back in 2022, but got to spend a week with it here in 2023. And, anyone who goes back to my Subaru WRX fan days can kind of understand, I think, why. It's a very peaky turbo motor, the small little 3-cylinder. It really relies on that turbo. It's more of a WRX experience, old school WRX experience, an Evo kind of experience than the Civic Type R and the Integra, which are so polished, have nice meaty power bands all the way through. GR Corolla certainly still has a good power band, regardless of what RPM you're at, but it's definitely more peaky. It's smaller. It has the diff that you can change up just like on the STIs, which is something no one else offers, and just something I obviously really love, again, from the WRX days. And so the GR Corolla is the modern WRX STI that Subaru won't build. It's the modern hot hatch. And honestly, I think it feels closer to the spirit of the actual regular WRX than the current WRX does. The WRX has matured. It's gotten, more refined. It's bigger. It's more bloated and stuff. And I mean, for people with growing families and, people who want to have, more creature comforts and more safety and all that kind of stuff, sure, it's a great improvement. I like the WRX. I don't have anything against it really, but the GR Corolla is closer to the spirit of the original WRXs and is just, to me, it's just that, it's kind of immature. It's not super practical. It's got a small hatch, a small back seat, but it's just fun, and it's just a little more juvenile feeling than the current WRX. And I think it just, encapsulates that spirit better than even the modern WRX does. So I absolutely adore the GR Corolla, and especially here, since we get some snow every once in a while in Pittsburgh, if I needed, a practical four-door vehicle and I could spend 40 grand on it, GR Corolla is what I'd be driving, pretty certain. I mean, I absolutely love those things, especially if I was buying new. Used, there's all kinds of other fun options, but as far as buying new, GR Corolla is it for me. I adore the GR Corolla. So that is my number 2. Now, my number 1 most favorite review this year. This one might be a little predictable for everyone, but it is the Corvette Z06, which I was able to drive for the first time here just a couple of months ago. And I mean, there's already been a year of hype about, the Z06 as it's been out for, a good while now, but it's just as magical as everyone makes it out to be. It really is so good. And I mean, I've driven 458s. I did a review on a 458 a couple of years ago. It's way better than even that. It's just, it sounds so good. It's so fast. It's so well rounded with amazing brakes, amazing handling. It just got it all, and it's just an incredible car. And that is one of the few cars that if I could afford it, I would give up the bullet for. Like, I loved it that much. It is fantastic. Amazing car. And so, yes, that one is a car I didn't think I would ever have on my dream car wish list, to be totally honest. I've never lusted after a Corvette before, honestly, but this is the first one that I'm like, yes, like, I want one of those in my collection someday if I ever win the lottery or whatever. But yeah, so that is my most favorite review of 2023 here. Now, looking forward into 2024, there's a few cars here that I'm excited about, 4 to be exact. So the first one I'm most excited about is the new Dodge Charger here coming for the 2025 model year. Dodge seems to be saying late 2024 for that. Now, there's the electric version that's coming. I don't know when everything's coming, but there's the electric one, and then there's going to be the Hurricane, inline 6 versions most likely as well, because we saw this by pictures of a transmission tunnel and all that. And so, I'm excited for it for a number of reasons. I'm excited to see what they do with this 6-cylinder and see how fans react to the 6-cylinder, which will most likely be more powerful than the V8s, but be in a different form. Will people be okay with that or not? It's going to really change the muscle car dynamic in a way we haven't seen it change before. And then the electric version, I'm very curious to see. They're putting actual pipes hooked up to a sound generator and playing with an exhaust note the same way you play with it and tune it on a gas powered vehicle. Again, something new that no one's tried before, and I really commend and admire companies that are trying new things and going out and taking risks and not playing it safe. And I think that that'll be something, as a reviewer, I like trying these new things instead of just the same old formula. And so as a reviewer, I'm excited to really try out that electric one even more, but I think both of them should be pretty cool in their own ways, and I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be one of the biggest debuts here this coming year. Also, number 2 here in my most excited stuff for 2024 is the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. Another thing similar to the Charger EV where, they're using real shift points. You have all these different fake sounds. It's a ton of power. It's got drift modes, and it's got a clutch kick kind of thing you can do in an EV. Just so many cool out-of-the-box things that, again, no one else has really tried before, that Hyundai is being daring and bold enough to try. And again, I got to respect them a ton for that. And I know lots of people have already driven the Ioniq 5N, so maybe it's old news for some people already, but I haven't tried it out, and I'm excited to hopefully try it out here. I think this coming spring, we'll see. But anyway, just, very excited for that one. Another one is the Volkswagen ID Buzz. Now, the Buzz, it's not going to be anything exciting from an enthusiast standpoint, but it's just fun to see that the long rumored for decades, the rumors and returns of, there's going to be a new Volkswagen Bus someday. It's finally happening and finally showing up here in the States here this year, I believe, assuming there's no other delays. And I mean, it's going to probably drive like a, taller ID4, which means it'll be probably a pretty bland driving experience, but it's a Volkswagen Bus. It's not supposed to light your hair on fire, but it's going to be really fun to see those on the roads here. And I'm just, looking forward to seeing the return of the bus here finally next year. And the last one I'm most excited for in 2024 isn't a guarantee that it'll show up in 2024, but I am assuming it might, and that is the new Corvette ZR1. With how mind-blowing the Z06 was, the rumor is that they're just going to strap twin turbos onto that motor essentially and do tons of extra power, which is the one thing that car doesn't need is more power, but they're doing it. And I love the insanity, especially something that, we're not going to get from Dodge here anymore, from the gas side of Dodge at least. And so I'm glad to see Chevy picking up the mantle here and, making the ZR1 most likely even more insane than the Z06 is. And, if I get the chance to review, I don't know if I'll actually even drive it in 2024, but if I do get the chance, or I'm so lucky, I'm sure it's going to be wild, but I'm just excited for that car in general. And so that's my last one here to look forward to in 2024. Now, as far as the channel goes for 2024 here, I'm always looking to change things, always looking to improve. Obviously, the channel's treading water at best. It's still kind of on a slow decline, and that's not great with most other channels growing and having good growth here. It's just something that I'm enjoying this ride as long as it lasts, but it seems more and more clear to me that it's something that's a tough thing to compete with these days, with so many other channels popping up every day and so many great channels coming onto the scene here in the past few years. It's tough to get views anymore. So, who knows how long I'll be able to keep doing this for. But it's something I'm just going to take it day by day and try my best and see where, it takes me. The one thing I'm going to try and do here in 2024 to try and differentiate myself from everyone else is by doing more of the used car reviews. Most of you really love those. The views aren't super great for those so far, aside from the Impala SS, which was my best watched video of the year with over 200,000 views now, which is wild. But aside from that one, all the other ones are mediocre views at best. But I really have a passion for the affordable performance stuff. Again, trying to not abandon everyone that doesn't have $50,000 to spend on a brand new car, and highlighting stuff that's 10, 15, 20, 25, $30,000 or so, good solid used bargains that are also fun performance vehicles. That's the one thing I'm going to really try and focus on, because I don't think anyone else is really doing that I know of. There's other people doing used reviews of exotic stuff or quirky stuff, but no one is really just focusing on the ordinary enthusiast stuff that's affordable these days. And so I want to try and highlight some of that. Obviously, in my over 10 years of doing car reviews here, I've highlighted many of those back when they were newer, but now as they've aged, I'd like to revisit some of the ones that I've some of my greatest hits of the past, while also trying to cover some stuff that I haven't covered before. Like I just filmed a Genesis Coupe with a manual, which I'd never driven the manual until this past week. So trying to fill in some of those gaps that I have from the previous years. And so I'm going to really try and focus on that. I'm also going to try and just make the video shorter. I know I don't have time to watch a 30-minute video. I know most of you probably don't either, and I got to try and get those video lengths down to a shorter length, especially in this TikTok age of everyone wanting quick hits. I got to try and get the videos shorter, so that's also going to be a goal as well. I'm also going to be more picky with the cars I review next year, since unlike other channels that are only doing the new stuff, and I'm trying to differentiate and do the used stuff, I don't need the new stuff to sustain me. I have so many of you who kindly offered your cars. I would be set for years just doing viewer cars and doing all the used stuff that I've been able to do from Harrison Auto Sales and some of the other dealerships that I've worked with in the past. I really have no pressure to do new stuff, aside from just trying to cover some of the newest, most exciting stuff. But I think I'm just going to be trying to be more picky this year. I'm still going to do lots of stuff that might not be super exciting. I want to, cover something for everyone on this channel, not just people who want something with 1,000 horsepower or some people who want a race car. I want to do, good consumer advice videos as well. So I will still do some of the ordinary stuff where it makes sense and where I think there could be views there. But, I'm really going to try and be more picky and pass on some of the less exciting stuff here in 2024 as well. I also want to get the channel a little more personal. When I look back at, the, I guess, better years on this channel, they were the years where, I was more personal with my journey. 2018, I was showing my lead up to getting the Bullet and all the, anticipation of that and that whole journey, my mod journeys in the earlier years and the accidents that happened, which thankfully I don't need to relive any of that stuff. But, just all those, more personal videos, I think really helped me to have a good bond with many of you. And I think it's something that as I try to be more and more professional, as I got into the, other car reviews here with the press strips and the, press cars and all that kind of stuff, I think I lost some of that and just became a little more generic. And I think I need to go back to, the stuff that, kind of set me apart a little bit. And again, just do more of personal stuff, just not getting into like vlogging or anything like that, but just more like rants. And just, I know a lot of you love the rants that I do sometimes in the weekly updates, just kind of doing more opinion videos, more updates on my cars or, whatever. I think some of those types of things could certainly help. And also just trying to do other things that I think might just be out of the ordinary, but just fun and, something a little different than just car reviews every single week. So I'm going to try and switch it up a little bit here and give a little more variety. Also, there's been a few suggestions in the live streams as well. Some people have mentioned, like, for example, doing possibly configurator walkthroughs and do little videos kind of showing different, configurators and, my advice on what trims to skip and how to navigate that stuff, because I know it can be kind of overwhelming for some of these manufacturers with their configurators. So that's something I'm considering adding. Let me know what you think about that idea in the comments below. I also am considering, I know a lot of people want to see a podcast version of the weekly updates, but with the channel having the, declining views and especially the weekly updates this year, kind of declining in views a little bit as well, generally, I can't afford to give up views by having people going and listening to a free podcast instead. So that's something that's, I'd like to do, and I may do that as a member only thing here, just doing an audio version of the weekly update as a podcast. But that's something I'm actively working on, trying to find a way to do a podcast that makes sense. It would just be the weekly updates, basically. It wouldn't do anything outside of that, but trying to find a way to do that. If you have any other thoughts or ideas as far as a podcast version of the weekly update, definitely leave a comment below. I'm always open to hearing all of your suggestions, and that goes for anything. If you have any other video ideas or any other things you'd like me to change or keep doing, definitely let me know in the comments below. I love these year-end videos because I get so much great feedback of the things that from your guys' perspective that I did well or I didn't do well this year that you'd like to see more of or less of. It's always very, very helpful. So I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and comments there as far as what you think for next year. But I mean, for the members, the last thing I'll say is I do want to add more member perks here going forward. I want to do some one-take videos here this coming year of just literally no edits, just me hitting record on my phone and just filming stuff, whether that is, a little behind the scenes clip or like I'm going to do a member tour of my shelves here and kind of give a close up look at everything that's going on behind me there. Just little things like that. I want to do a member car of the week. So members, if you'd like, definitely reach out in some form or another. All this stuff's in the description there as far as my contact info. If you want to send me a picture of your vehicle, I want to do a member car of the week here in 2024 as well. So send those in if you want. And, yeah, so hopefully be some fun stuff on the horizon here. Lots of fun cars to look forward to, and hopefully some great videos and good times here in 2024. But anyway, I want to thank you guys all for all of your support here this past year. The views are really, that's obviously what keeps this channel going. And even though there's less views than there has been in the past, I appreciate every one of them. And I appreciate all of you who continue to stick with me all these years. I know many of you have been watching for a long time, and that just always blows me away. And I really, really do appreciate that. So anyway, sorry for the long-winded little wrap-up video here for the year, but hopefully you all enjoyed it. And yes, I hope you all have a great end of year 2023 here, and also a fantastic 2024 for all of us. Always hope for a better year on the horizon, and so let's keep our fingers crossed that 2024 will be a good one for all of us. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching this year and today, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.